Hi everyone, it's Rudy here, and in today's video I'm going to have a look at Coat Arms super washes and see how they work on Napoleonic French in greatcoats. I've got some models by Perry and Victrix to use them on. This will be a similar video to my previous ones where I looked at old versus new Army Painter washes and Army Painter washes versus Citadel shades. And I'll bring in some of the models that I did previously to compare with these Coat Arms washes. I've got 4 of the super washes here, black, light brown, mid brown and dark brown. Interestingly enough, the light brown appears to be a sort of a more reddy brown, and mid brown is a lot more of a yellowy brown. So we'll see how these compare, whether we do have a continuous spectrum from light to dark or if these brown washes have their own tone to them. So first test is going to be with Superwash Black. Just putting this on straight out the pot. Already looks a more concentrated black than dark tone from the Army Painter or Nuln oil from Citadel. However, it does seem to flow very well into the recesses, so drawing itself away from the flat surfaces as I put this on. The real test, of course, is once it's dry, so I'll finish applying this and then I will come back to you. For the second model here, I'm using the Superwash Black again. I have thinned it with some Lahmian Medium from Citadel. Again, about 50-50, like when I used the Citadel shades. Incidentally, the colours that I've used on the models is the same across the different wash experiments. I'll put a list of those in the description. Time for Superwash Dark Brown. I will be comparing this one to Agrax Earthshade and Strong Tone when it comes to the final results. My immediate impression is that it's not as dark as either of those washes and shades. Almost has a greenish tinge to it. Seems to want to disappear into the recesses itself. But once again, I will finish this off, let it dry, and then we can see what the final result looks like. Off camera, I did a model with a mix of the Superwash Dark Brown and Lahmian Medium. Moving on now to the mid brown. First impressions is that this one is going to stain the base colours a lot more than the dark brown did. It's more reminiscent of something like Citadel Chestnut ink. You see, it does want to pull away from the flat surfaces though. I'll mop up the excess and leave this to dry. Last up on camera is the Superwash Light Brown. Yeah, just like the colours on the bottle, it's much more of a red brown. The mid brown was much more yellow. After I've done this one and the thinned light brown, I will take stills and talk over them to discuss my thoughts on these super washes. See you in a minute for that. Okay, some stills of the models after their washes have been applied. The centre 2 models have the Coat Arms Superwash. The one to the right as we look at it has been thinned with the Lahmian Medium. On the left of the image, there are the models that have been treated with dark tone at the far left, and second from the left is dark tone thinned with wash medium. Those are the Army Painter washes. And to the right, we have the models that have been treated with Citadel Nuln oil. That's second from the right, and on the far right is the one that's been treated with Nuln oil, thinned 1:1 with Lahmian Medium. I think it's fairly clear from this image that the Superwash Black is really dark. Even when it's thinned with the Lahmian Medium, there's not much difference in the staining effect it has on the underlying colours. I don't think it's particularly well suited to this sort of model. I'm left with a very dark grey, very dark white. Skin tone is very sort of almost like it's covered in coal dust. Not a fan of how this looks. I also feel that the wash has pulled off the high points of the model quite a lot, and it's left a really quite uneven finish on the surface. The other downside, I think, is that even with thinning it, it's not changed the properties that much. Not very controllable. In this photo, I'm comparing Superwash Dark Brown with the two central models against Army Painter Strong Tone on the left of the image and Agrax Earthshade on the right. The far left Strong Tone model is Neat Strong Tone, then diluted 1:1 wash medium, followed by Superwash Dark Brown, Superwash Dark Brown diluted Lahmian Medium 1:1, Agrax Earthshade, and then the model on the far right of the image is Agrax Earthshade diluted 1:1 with Lahmian Medium. I'm really quite impressed with Superwash Dark Brown, even neat out the bottle. I think it does a good job of running into the recesses without staining the surface colour. I'm almost tempted to say it does a better job than Neat Strong Tone, which I preferred to Agrax Earthshade because that doesn't stain as much as the Earthshade does. So yeah, it's my favourite so far of the coat d'arms washes. Here I've gone with Army Painter Sepia Tone, Citadel Seraphim Sepia up against the Superwash Mid Brown. Same as before, you've got neat, diluted, neat, diluted, neat, diluted. The Mid Brown is quite similar to the Army Painter Sepia Tone in that it really colours everything and sort of draws the colours together underneath that yellow brown. When it's thinned with Lahmian Medium, I think it has a bit more use as an all-over wash. It's not altering the base colours that much, and it looks quite good, I think, on the white of the trousers and the strap, the off-white of the shackle cover as well. I still think if you're going for the sepia tone, that perhaps the Citadel one is probably a better bet. It seems to do less staining of the base colours. Here we have Coat d'Arms Superwash Light Brown up against Citadel Targor Rageshade. There isn't really an equivalent Army Painter wash that I had to hand. Both of these are sort of a reddish brown, hints of purple through them. I think that the Superwash Light Brown settles in the recesses but also peels off the raised surfaces a bit too much for my liking. It's a bit of a mottled finish. I also don't fancy this colour that much over greys and whites, but I think it's quite useful for skin tones, browns, purples probably as well. But if I was to choose between the two, I probably would go for the Targor Rageshade. Here's the four Coat d'Arms shades together, from left to right: Superwash Black, Superwash Dark Brown, Superwash Mid Brown, Superwash Light Brown. What are my overall thoughts? I really only like the Superwash dark brown, and I'm tempted to say that out of a bottle neat, I think it does as good, if not a better job of an all-over wash than Army Painter's Strong Tone or Agrax Earthshade. It doesn't change the base colours that much, and it flows really well into the recesses. I think that the other three are probably not my cup of tea at all. Certainly not as overall one coat washes on a whole model. If you wanted to darken everything down on a model and were working with dark colours initially, then Superwash Black probably isn't a bad idea. And the Superwash Mid Brown really puts that sepia tone over everything. I think there are uses for that. People who like to paint in the sort of Blanchitsu grim dark style might like that on their models, but I don't think it's appropriate for my Napoleonics. The light brown, I think it pulls away too much from the high points on the model. It leaves a bit of a mottled finish. The red brown, again, is not so great for Napoleonics in mainly white uniforms either. So thanks for watching this review. If you've got any comments, please leave them below, and I'll be back next time. Bye bye.